don't mean how I look. There's no help in that. I just mean, does this setup look all right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're a super handsome guy. We were just watching a clip of you at the Ice House and just kept showing these women just fawning over you in the crowd.
Oh, yeah. The one that's what they call the panty clip. You mean where they're all throwing their pants? No. Not at all.
I noticed it, man. Did you notice that? It kept showing those girls like, wow.
Yeah, I noticed.
Charismatic guy.
I hate watching my stuff, so I'll take your word for it. I have not seen that.
Why do you hate watching your stuff?
I mean, don't you watch your stuff back ever? It's just I'm my most critical.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right away like, oh, you look horrible. You sound horrible. You could have said this better. You should have said it this way. What the fuck are you thinking there? Why'd you do it in this order? I mean, I guess as an artist, it's never really like I've released albums, and if I could, I would still go back and fuck with them. You know what I mean? Like it's never really done. You know what I mean? It's never really done. Are
you able to watch your own podcast and enjoy that because it's just like two people hanging out?
Back in the day, Crab Feast and early parts of Honeydew for a good year, I would listen for a while, but mostly critically, like, are we doing this good? How does the mix sound? How does everything sound in post? And I definitely find myself laughing at the shit people say to me in the moments we have, but I don't listen anymore. I haven't. I can't. I like to have the moment with the person in the room and then let everybody else have it. Now, if there's a time stamp or something somebody sends me like this shit's hilarious. Yeah. Sometimes I'll click on that and I'll watch that moment. But I can't stand though. The only reason I tell Ash all the time, Ash's like, how'd you know I made that mistake? I'm like, the fans told me. They tell on you. I don't watch it. They told me you fucked up and didn't bleep that guy's name out of there.
I love it, man. The Honeydew is so funny. It's a real conversation. And I notice you make your guests feel calm enough to just say crazy shit. And that's when you do your best laughs. Like there's a compilation of just your laughs. I don't know.
Somebody put that together.
I love it.
I can't listen to it. Somebody put it together. Look, people have asked me for 10 years, make a laugh, a ringtone laugh. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. But I did. So right now it's about to be released, but I don't know, something about the artwork they didn't like. So we got to resubmit the artwork. But there's a ringtone of my laugh coming. And I mean, the promo I made for it is, I don't know why anyone would fucking want this, but you've asked for it so much that here it fucking is.
I want it now.
Yeah, I want it too.
I love that. I guess you're right. It's like people, I guess the opposite of people like who love watching their own shit. That's insufferable, I suppose. So I guess I'm like you.
Could you imagine going to a movie with your buddy who's in it and he's like, watch this shit. Watch what I do right here. Watch what I say right here. Did you hear that shit? Oh, no. You can't suck your own D. You know what I mean? You can't. By the way, I didn't even ask. Am I allowed to cuss on this? I mean,
absolutely. We insist.
All right.
We insist. Thank you for knowing we're from Vancouver, Canada. By the way, I'm Kevin. This is Alexi. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's very nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. I actually had a date pre-pandemic booked for the new, it was a new club up in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've never been. I was stoked to come up, and then 2020 happened, but hopefully, and I feel like, and then we're not going to talk about the pandemic, but if I understand, you guys are a little more locked down up there right now.
We're so behind. Yeah. We're so behind. Yeah. It's like everyone because I spent about half my time in LA. Everyone there is vaxxed up. Here, there's like a waiting list still.
Yeah.
And I already got
when it gets back to normal, I'd love to come back to
absolutely.
Up to Vancouver, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got COVID in Arizona and the shot, so I'm fucking invincible now.
Me too.
Yeah, you got it?
Too, yeah. I still can't smell. I haven't had my sense of smell and barely any taste for 6 months.
My God.
6 months tomorrow. No,
really?
A little 6 months coming up on.
You got no smell at all?
Nothing.
I mean, it's kind of a blessing in certain situations, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's depressing though.
It's fucking with me now.
Yeah.
But I was saying like recently, it hadn't bothered me too much. If the trade-off for me was, you don't have to step foot into one of these cesspool hospitals at Christmas in LA when it was at its worst around the world, apparently, according to the numbers. But you're going to lose your smell for a minute. Mm-hmm. I would have signed up for that.
Yeah.
But just about a month ago, my daughter and I are sleeping, and the smoke detector goes off at like 3:00 in the morning. And I shot up right away. And my first thought was, oh, fuck, I can't smell smoke.
Yeah.
I can't smell any of that. My fucking smoke detectors better be working. So our batteries are on point. Yeah. And then a couple days after that, they evacuated a neighborhood for a natural gas leak. And I was like, oh shit, I can't smell that either. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know. So that's when it dawned on me like, oh, I miss my smell. I miss my smell.
I like that all this is happening now to you. It's like the Lord is testing you.
Mm-hmm.
See if he survives this.
The Lord has been testing me since I exited my mom's vagina. Okay.
When I got it, to me, like the illness, it lasted maybe like 5-6 days, and that sucked. But the depressing part was no taste. And like when you're like, do I have this shit? And then you're tasting things, and you're like, no way. No fucking way. I gargled ghost pepper salsa and couldn't taste it. I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Yeah, dude.
I can feel spice. And I can taste sweet.
Yeah.
But anything sweet, all of it tastes the same sweet. So whether it's an M&M or a fruit, it all tastes the same. I can't smell anything.
Yeah.
But you just said something that made me think of what I wanted to tell you.
You said M&Ms, and it made me think of tan M&Ms, which you said in your special. Where did they go?
Yeah. That's right. What happened to them? What happened to tan M&Ms? But I was kind of like, I don't know if I have it. This is a head cold or whatever. And then one day I woke up and I was like, that's when I was like, nah, right away. I couldn't smell. I was like, no. Oh my God. I'm like, smell this candle. Do you still says the candle, man? It's my nose, man. She's like, nah, I smell that candle. I'm like, fuck.
Dude, that's how I knew my smell was finally coming back, is when I could finally smell a candle after a month, and I openly wept.
I'm gonna cry. I will absolutely cry. I'll record it. And I also wonder what it's going to be too. Is it going to be like somebody stank shit and I'll still be so happy? Or will it be coffee somewhere? Or will it be flowers or my daughter's hair? I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to cry. I don't care if I'm in the restroom with a stranger and I smell this dude's shit. I'm going to knock on his door. I'm going to say, I know you don't know me, but thank you, brother. Thank you. If you can give me some toilet paper, I'm out here crying.
Well, I hope it comes back for you, man. I remember like the depths of having it. I was just on Reddit all night, just reading about horror stories, people being like, oh, if this is the rest of my life, I don't want to do it. I remember some guy was like, yeah, my taste finally came back and everything tastes rotten now. I was like, oh no.
Oh,
that's where I'm at. So I'm just now starting to get a tiny bit of smell, but the only thing I smell is water.
It doesn't even have a smell.
It does. Yes, it does. It does. It has it's almost like a weak natural, that the smell they put in for natural gas, that smell you smell so you can smell it, even though I can't. That smell, it's like a softer, lighter smell, and anything wet. Doesn't matter. I just sprayed bleach in the bathroom here and it smelled the same. Everything wet now smells the same. It's starting to. So I don't know if it's coming back, but this shit better fucking take a turn for the better.
Oh, God damn it. Man.
I haven't had it. I never got it. I never got COVID, and I've had my first shot, and I just keep thinking like, how much would that suck if I get it now?
If you get COVID now?
Like right now, like after I've held out for so long.
What if you get 2 shots and then get it anyway?
I'd be pissed.
Yeah, you wait till then to get it. Oh man. Yeah, I know. You know what's crazy too is when I was in LA, a lot of my friends there are like COVID deniers. And so when I got it, it's weird. Or like this friend of mine, she definitely got it. Was so like, it's just a flu. All right, guys, it's just a flu. It's like, you can't taste anything. You can't smell anything. You're so sick and you still don't believe in it. This is amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. It's not religion. Get your shit together.
Right?
I know. Hey, Ryan, I heard you say that you like to keep a jar of pickles in your fridge because ladies love pickles.
Yes. I suggest all single dudes keep a jar of pickles in their fridge for sure.
Alexi, do you know this?
I didn't know that.
You like
that was
pickles, though, right?
I love pickles. That's brilliant.
See, here's the thing, though. The other thing about Ryan is he hates pickles from McDonald's because his friends used to piss in them.
Oh.
Right?
Okay, yes. So let's go back to the positive story first. So I suggest, like for single guys, especially bachelors, whatever, you have a lady coming over. Pickles last a long time. Girls love pickles. It's something that they can munch on and get the salty and the crunchy while they're over there at your house. You're supposed to make a woman feel safe and welcome in your home. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're not going to cook and you want to have something, I'm telling you, it's pickles in the fridge.
That's a good move.
Pickles in the fridge. So back to not liking, because I do like pickles.
Yeah,
but
you just don't trust them.
Associated. I don't trust the people that handle them. Because I had a friend that on his last day or his last days at McDonald's, he peed in the pickle juice, the pickle jar. So there I would, because we ate at that restaurant all the time, I would pick the pickles off, even though the juice and everything was still on there. I feel like in McDonald's, that shit cooks out and I just toss that pickle out. I don't know. It's just my way of feeling better about it.
I get it.
I also watched that same dude when I stood in line to order his last day. He picked his, so it was an older person in front of me. He picked his nose and then he wiped it on that little, that little pad they have for your order that said, "Can I help you?" And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
This dude doesn't want to quit. He was trying to get fired.
Yeah. You got to kind of respect the dude like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going out in a blaze of glory.
Boogie, the pickle juice, not so much. I'm like, come on, bro.
Were your friends were your friends all delinquents when you were like a teenager?
I mean, delinquent officially, like actually getting locked up. No, a handful of them certainly did.
Yeah.
But always, mischievous, I would say.
Troublemakers.
Yes, for sure. Shit starters. Yes. Yeah.
Were you?
But also not just with the neighborhood and other, mostly between each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of back and forth between us.
You guys would like just fuck with each other and like prank each other?
All the time. Like one of the things we loved, I just told this the other day, was scaring each other. We loved like a good fucking scare, because we had friends that were just, some of them were pussies, and one night I just told my little brother, it was because my other brother and I are twins, so we had to share a car.
Okay.
And every other weekend, the other one got it, which sucked, but the weekend I got it, you had to go where the fuck I wanted to go and do what I wanted to do, and vice versa the next weekend. But my little brother didn't care because he was always going, know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to go do what you all are doing tonight. Mm-hmm. So this night, I'm driving my little dad's Honda Civic, original rims.
Wow.
And then Jeff Wagner, my buddy, sitting next to me. And then my little brother's in the back seat behind me. Sorry. Our friend we're picking up, Anthony Biasella, is going to sit in the back seat behind me. It's a 2-door. And I tell my little brother, you want to roll with us tonight? He goes, yeah. I go, all right, here's what we'll do. You lay in the hatchback. I'll cover you with a blanket. He's not going to look back there. No one's ever going to turn around and look in a fucking hatchback of a car, And I don't care when you do it. Do it whenever the fuck you want. But you come up like fucking Jason out of that goddamn lake and you throw your arm around his neck and you scream and you hold on, and I don't care what happens. You don't let go of this motherfucker. And he's like, okay. So I put him in the back of the hatchback and I cover him up, and we're out driving, and we pick Anthony up, and Anthony gets in, sits right behind me, and we start driving. I don't know what my brother's doing back there. He's waiting he waits like a good 5 minutes or so, and we're settled.
That's awesome.
And Jeff and I are looking at each other, just waiting and then out of nowhere, and he throws his arm around his neck. Anthony Biasella It might as well have been a wild stallion back there. He's kicking my fucking seat. He's swinging. This dude thinks he is being murdered in the back seat. It was so goddamn funny.
Oh my God.
It was so fucking good.
So when that happens, is he like, I'm going to fucking get you guys back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then you're just watching yourself.
And they never were as good as I was. So there was another one. This was a really good one. This was, you remember when those emails and like I'm sure it probably happened to someone out there, but there were a lot of these like, just, the bullshit of if you flash your headlights, they're gang members, they turn around, all that bullshit. Well, there was this one about women who needed to watch out for this guys that were laying under their car. And when they would put one foot on the ground and the other one in, they would slice their Achilles.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You remember this shit? This story went around for a while.
Oh yeah.
You heard it, right?
That's a big horror story that my parents were always like, look under the car.
God damn.
Yes. Right. So I'm sure, unfortunately, it probably happened to someone. Maybe it didn't, but it ran pretty wild. So back in high school, we all worked at this, they call it a retirement community. It was an old age home. And we wouldn't get out till, 11:30 on like a Thursday, And one night I quit there, but it was down the street from my house. So I walk up at like 11:30 at night, and my friend Chris, he drove a red Suzuki Samurai. And it was elevated enough. So I went into the parking lot and found his car, and then I laid under it and waited for him to come out of the old age home. And when he did, I waited for him to put one foot up, and then I grabbed that other one and I started pulling under it. I tried to rip his ass under that thing. He's just like, he screamed for help. But I forgot that Maryland State Troopers are the security on the property. So they fucking come over, man. I was laughing so hard.
No way.
He shit himself. That
you could have got hurt yourself there.
That was a good one. I wasn't letting go of that leg.
Did you like get along with your twin brother growing up real well, or did you guys fuck with each other too?
Well, both. I mean, we got along great, but we beat the shit out of each other, but we still got along. Yeah.
Did you guys actually get into fights?
The hardest I've ever been punched in my face was by my brother.
That'd be wild to see.
I've been in a lot of fights in my 20s. Somebody said the other day, like, he's talking about how he's fighting. In my 20s. I'm not fighting in my 40s. If you're a dude that still fist fights often in your 40s, you have to deal with your fucking problems. Right? Unless you're a professional. And, and then you're probably way too old to be fighting anyway.
True.
But we would go at it. We've been in tons of fights. Maryland and Baltimore is a very angry place. We've been in a lot of fights, my brother and I. So I've been hit plenty of times. And there was one night, it's a lot of tension building up. Our dad had died. Our mom's not around. It's our senior year. Everyone comes to our home because we don't have parents. And we're trying to deal with life and everything else while all these people were there. And we just lost it on each other one night. And he was taller and skinnier. I was always stockier. And I think people thought I was going to beat his ass. So they grabbed me and put my arms behind my back. And they're like, stop, break it up. And when my brother saw that, I can't say, look, that motherfucker took the shot. Hey, I would have took if they held his arms behind his back. He took it. I've only seen, I've been hit a lot. I've been a wrestler, everything. I've seen stars one time.
It was from
from my own flesh and blood.
Wow.
Who I shared a womb with.
Bill Burr told a story like that about how his brother was held and he went over his dad and punched his brother in the face. And he said whenever they drink from then on, his brother would start eyeing him up. Ever since then. Yeah. And they just hashed it out like last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's good. He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
Yeah.
That's not over.
No, it's definitely not over.
That was 1991. I promise you. It isn't over. It was 3 decades ago, and it is not over.
You're going to get him?
He's definitely going to get a shot for that. Fuck yeah. It's the hardest I've ever been hit in my life. And second behind that is my mom. My family has done more damage to me than strangers out the street.
Man, it's funny. We had this comedian, Sophie Buttle, on, and she and I both realized that our dads are fuckboys. Because I remember, dude, when like my parents divorced when I was 5, and then I remember he'd get me every second weekend, but he'd take me with him to the bar, which is ultimate. You only get a day with me, and you still have to go to the goddamn bar. He straight up used me as bait to talk to these women. It's going to use a bad term, and then he'd usher me off with someone, and I wouldn't see him. And then I remember a little later, coming into his room, and he had a thesaurus on his bedside table. It's like, oh yeah, just doing a little light reading. Just gonna fucking read the thesaurus. He's trying to look smart.
No way.
Man, I heard you one time, you kind of delved into a story about when you were a UPS worker. And you
shout out to UPS, Baltimore Hub, Primary 1, Joe Avenue.
Shout out. And you got into, like, you were delivering to someone who ended up being a serial killer or something?
What?
Well, or something, yes. Not a serial killer, but definitely a double homicide. Yeah.
Jesus.
Some fan just found that house the other day and sent it to me, and I reposted it in my IG story. Yeah. So I was hired for Christmas help, seasonal worker.
Yeah,
I was a driver's helper, and I lived right outside the city. I lived in a row home, my grandmom's place, and she had passed, but I lived there with my brother. Mm-hmm. And the driver was like, "Look, you live on my route. So after I do my next day airs, they all got to be out by 10. I'm going to swing by." Motherfucker blows the horn in the middle of the street, and I run out from my house, my little row home, in my brown suit, my brown outfit, and I get in the driver's side, and we just roll. And it's a lot of work because row homes there's a shitload of them. It's not like a house here and then a yard and a house and a yard and a house. Yeah. It's boom, 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 boom. So we're hustling all day, and the rule was at the time, out of sight, out of weather if they weren't home. If it was on a row home, you didn't leave it because somebody's stealing that. But if we got out, so we would start in the city and then we'd get out to a little bit of just more space. It was the county, but it wasn't the country,
Right.
So I'm knocking on this, and I took the addresses on the passenger side. He took them on the driver's side. So this is my delivery. I run out. I rap on the door. Nobody's answering, but I can hear people in there. Knock again, nothing. So I go around the back where I can see they have a deck. I knock on the door back there, no answer. But again, a lot of noise going on in the house. So I leave the package on the back deck, out of sight, out of weather. And I go back around the front door, and one more time, I beat on the door again. My driver's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know. They're definitely in there, but I can't hear them. Fuck it. I left it out back." He's like, "All right." So I get in the truck, and it's probably, I don't know, just before lunch. And then that night, you work extra hours during Christmas. We don't get it back into the hub till like 9:30,
Yeah.
And the supervisor walks up to me. He's like, "Ryan, how about that crazy motherfucker on your route today?" I'm like, we just did a 12-hour shit. You know how many crazy motherfuckers we just saw in Baltimore? Like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he's like, "The guy that killed the 2 people." And we're like, "What?" And he's like, "This address here." I'm like, "Oh my God." And the driver's looking, I'm like, "That's the one. I told you I could hear him in there." So,
oh my God.
What happened was this loser owed these guys some money for some drugs. And it wasn't much. If I remember correctly, it's probably under $2,000. It wasn't a ton. Yeah. And he's also the same type of white trash that had cars sitting on his yard. The kind of cars you could have paid a junkyard a few $100 and started collecting your money, whatever.
Yeah.
So this guy decides he's going to drive way out to Carroll County, where I grew up, and meet these 2 drug dealers that he owes money to, right?
Yep.
And he does. And when they get there, he kills both of them.
Holy!
And puts them in his car and drives them to his home, okay?
Okay.
Now, they're gone, obviously, for quite a while. What the killer doesn't know is that one of those dudes had just had a baby with his girlfriend, and that newborn was in the car they drove to meet this guy.
Oh.
Everything's fine with the baby. Baby's fine. But the mom called the police and said, look, my boyfriend just left with our baby. Here's his license plate, year, make, and model. Here's who he went to meet. Here's who he was with. Here's where the guy they went to meet lit. Like you and the three of us could have solved this. You know, we didn't need a detective 101.
Yeah.
So the police show up. They find the baby in the car. Fortunately, the baby's fine. They then go to this guy's house. And what's happening when I'm knocking on the door is he's down in the basement doing whatever the fuck he's doing. Well, it turns out he was digging up his
fucking way
to bury the bodies in the fucking basement.
Way.
And he hit a water supply, so he couldn't bury him down there. And the police come and they fucking said it was a gruesome sight, and they got the guy. They went right to his place and got him.
Dude, this guy has the worst luck ever.
And someone just, I don't know I would say the two guys that he killed had the worst luck ever. But yeah, he did that shit, man. He fucking killed two people, tried to bury him. And some fan the other day said, yo, here's that house.
No way.
Like, that is the fucking house. Yeah.
That'd be funny if there was an America's Dumbest Criminals about that guy.
It's still, I just researched it recently. You still Google it. It comes right up in the Baltimore Sun online and everything. Yeah.
Dude, what a good thing you didn't answer the door when you were knocking. That man had a taste for blood.
Shit, or dragging him, anything.
Jesus. That's wild.
We were like, are we going to have to be witnesses? And they were like, nah, man, they solved this already. This guy was an idiot. I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't want to go to court for this.
Oh my God. That's scary.
That is scary. Oh my God.
Yeah. When you were doing that job, you said you encountered like lots of crazy people. Was it just, it's weird because you think they'd be in a good mood that you're delivering the thing that they ordered or whatever, but they're just still lots of
a lot
anger.
of times they're not home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're working. But also it's not just them. It's the people on the sidewalks and in the stores and everywhere else. But also people who work there, like, some of the best criminal shit I've ever seen was done at UPS.
Really?
And I loved it. Like I ended up being a supervisor, but these dudes were all my coworkers before. So I knew all their tricks, you know, like I knew when Timberland would call and say, hey, we got a pair of used Nikes in this box right here. And one of my guys rolled in with brand new Carolina blue Timbs. I knew what was going on. And the loss prevention guy, this dude, he's like, let me show you how these guys do it. So he had some great shit. This dude this is 93, 92, 93. Mm-hmm. No, that's not true. I moved here in 97. So this is 94 to 96.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
He had the pen camera back then, and he would drill it into one of the like studs that were in front of the unload bay.
Wow.
And be like, watch this guy right here. And he would show me, and the guy would have a liking for this certain package, and he would set it off to the side. Mm-hmm. And as he'd unload, he'd slowly kick that package and sort of keep it with him. And then at the end, what happens a lot of times when they back those tractor trailers up to the unload bay, sometimes there's a little gap, so a package will fall in between. Okay. And when you're done unloading, you're supposed to go outside and clean up the area if there's any smaller packages down there, and then put them on the belt and send them over. But what guys do is whatever package they've taken a liking to, they then kick that one outside.
Okay.
And then they go outside at the end of the night, boom, 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 new shoes, old shoes. One dude used to tie them together and sling them and throw them up on the roof. And the loss prevention guy would come down and go, I got this pair and this pair. I'm like, these guys. This dude was so into it. It would be February. It would be 3 fucking degrees at 2:00 in the morning. And this dude would lay out in an all metal package car watching these guys stealing shit. It had to be so fucking cold in there, but he got off on it. That's how he caught him. So one of the funniest ones was back when CDs were a thing. And you had the record clubs. Remember, you get like 15 CDs for a penny or whatever?
Yep.
Well, these people were ripping these things off left and fucking right. Like it was a problem. So they put the dye packs in them.
Oh yeah.
And in the summertime in Baltimore, it's 100 degrees, but humid as fuck. And then when you're inside those trucks, it's like 120, 125 degrees in there. So you're sweating your fucking ass off. And these guys pull this package open. Now I'm learning to be a supervisor at this time. I'm just an unloader, but I come in early. I take this whole curriculum on a computer, and I'm learning to grow, get the fuck out of that bullshit so I can be better, make more money.
Yeah.
I'm only 20 couple of years old, and here come these two dudes, and they look like Grimace. They are covered in purple. And I start laughing, and they're like, "It's not fucking funny." I'm like, "It is, though. It is. It's funny." And what happened was it blew up on them, and then they're sweating and they're trying to rub it off, but that just makes it worse. So it's covering them everywhere. They both get fired. That was a good one. We always, every year, they gave a free turkey for Thanksgiving, and some greedy asshole always took 2 and will get fired for that turkey. But there was so many good. They all knew the guard in the guard shack, so he wouldn't wand them.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of really good. I loved it. There was one lady. There was one lady who is called loss prevention. It's called a sweeper.
Okay,
and she was on loss prevention too. But what happens is, like, let's say you send something to your aunt and the box breaks all up. Well, if it's fixable, we'll sit there and tape it real quick and make it nice. And so it makes it,
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times TV, shit like that, this lady, and if she would have stopped, she would have got away with it. But it's what criminals always do. It got good to her, and she would send it. So if it busted, like her sister Janice was getting that shit in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't matter what the fuck it was. Janice was getting it if she had to rewrap it. So much shit like that. Oh, the best one. Can I tell you this one?
Please do.
This is the most creative. All right.
Can't wait.
So there were guys that we lived in the neighborhood. So we would see a lot of these package trucks. Well, this one dude on one route in Baltimore City, he lived on that block of the brown package truck that he would package. So there's a twilight shift where, like, I'll come in. If you're my driver, one of you guys, let's say you're my driver, I come in, I set your truck up for you. So I organize the addresses from where you're going first to last so that ideally you grab and go, right?
Mm-hmm.
This dude, the truck would deliver in his Baltimore City neighborhood. And in Baltimore City, remember, I was telling you can't leave a package because they'll steal it.
Yeah.
It's got to be signed for.
Mm-hmm.
So anything this dude wanted to steal, he would tape it up inside the wheel well of that truck. Okay. And when you're doing row homes and businesses, a lot of times you'll see the UPS guy, they'll park their truck, they'll take a dolly and they'll go run the packages. Then they'll come back to the truck.
Yeah.
So he would wait for the dude to do that. Then he would run up to the truck, reach up under the wheel well, pop out the package that he taped himself in there a few hours before, and then get whatever the fuck it was he wanted. Jewelry, whatever it was.
Wow.
No
This dude had a whole
way.
fucking system, but he, again, greed, he got caught. And the one thing that actually got us, so we were on our Christmas route. We come in, they're like, you guys aren't delivering. We're like, we've delivered every fucking package. Like, nah, man, you missed a dozen. We're like, no, we didn't. No, we fucking didn't. So they sent a loss prevention guy out who followed us 6 or 7 stops behind and found that there was somebody following us 3 or 4 deliveries behind.
No
so people
way.
People make a living off this shit. So we're delivering and they're fucking taking them.
Oh my
We're
God.
delivering, they're fucking taking them. And our guy caught the guy following us. He followed the follower and he got him.
That's amazing.
I loved it.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's crazy.
I gambled illegally at UPS with a guy that murdered his wife. I ran numbers at UPS.
Guy murdered his what?
So here's the deal. This was my guy, Pat, okay?
Okay.
Pat was an ex-con
Okay.
who back in the days, he's an old guy by the time I got to him.
Mm-hmm.
False teeth, all white hair. He came home and apparently caught his wife fucking his best friend in their bed. So he got his gun and he shot everybody.
Oh,
and I think he killed her and not the guy.
Oh,
So he did it. He did 20 years and got all out on 18 for good behavior. He didn't have his, what was it? The crime of passion plea or anything.
Yeah.
He does 18 in Baltimore City. He's an older white dude. He's got a tattoo on his arm, a prison tattoo, a Baltimore City prison tattoo of this rat that's like this fucking big, like ear to ear.
That's awesome.
Squeezing his dick, double fisting, squeezing his dick, and it says, it's a rat, and it says, "Here, kitty, kitty." It's this little scared cat next to him. That was his tattoo.
That's crazy.
No
and this
way.
dude knew every fucking thing about every person in that place. So I'd sit down from him. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Jimmy?" His wife's about to leave him. She's cheating on his ass.
That's
Cheating with his cousin. I'm like, God, this guy knows everything. So I just love people like that. So I start talking to him. He's like, he's running, he's doing football pools and shit. He's like, "You gamble?" I go, "Yeah, I'll play football with you."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing college games with him. I'm doing NFL games with him. But the thing the guy does that's my favorite is he runs numbers. So, all right. So when he got out of prison, he was given this job as a state job. And his job is to sit in that UPS cafeteria. And it's still a big hub. It's one of the last that has full-time union employees in the country, I think, at least on the East Coast. So there's a shitload of people floating in and out of this building. And his job is to keep all of the vending machines fully stocked. That's his job.
Yeah.
He'll keep your lunch cold for you when you bring it in. Yeah, throw it back there with everybody. Like, he's just the man. And every night I would see this napkin on the table after he'd leave with these numbers on it. And I was like, I fucking look at the lottery. I'm like, these motherfuckers running numbers down here. So I go, hey, and I mean, everyone played. The top supervisor. We all played with this dude. I don't care if they tell you they didn't. Every executive, all the way down to the drivers, we all played with this dude. So on the side, he had a bookie he worked for because he couldn't sustain his living off of this fucking vending machine job that he was given. And he would run numbers for the bookie. He'd do all the betting for the bookie, all of it. So I'd play this pick 4 number every fucking night. Was this address that I had to force to live in. And I'm like, it's going to be good luck. We'll pay it. And every night I'm playing. And everyone, after they're like unload a truck, they go down to the bathroom. They take the circle downstairs. They roll by, look at the napkin on the table, see if they won, out. And one night I got there like 10 minutes late. And Pat's like, "Man, I wanted to put the number in for you, but I didn't know if you really wanted to do it." I go, "Fuck." And it hit. It didn't hit straight, thank God, because that should have been like 10 grand. But it hit box, and it was like $2,500.
Man.
And back then, that was like $25,000.
Oh,
so this dude would tell me he did kill somebody, but I love this guy was a good dude post murder.
That was his wife.
He rehabilitated.
I think after 18 years in a scary Baltimore prison, I think we can like him again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would tell me, I go, "Who's the scariest guy you saw in there?" He goes, "I'll tell you right now who that motherfucker is." He said, "This dude stood out. Pennsylvania Avenue is a very rough fucking neighborhood in Baltimore, and the cops don't like to go down it."
Yeah.
And there was a dude that stood there in the middle of the fucking street with just straight up shootout and took cops down. He's still alive.
Holy shit.
He's still alive in Baltimore. And they said, you just didn't fuck with that guy.
Wow.
That's the guy that you just didn't fuck with.
There was a guy at the Vancouver Comedy Club, Comedy Mix, it's not around anymore, but he was a bouncer, and he was like this massive native dude. And he was like that, where you could just tell he was scary and that he'd done things. And if there was a problem in the crowd that none of the other people could deal with, they'd send him over there. And there was a guy in the front row that kept heckling all night long. But he was kind of like a gang guy, so they were worried about throwing him out. So they sent this guy there, and he bent down, and it looked like he whispered something into his ear, and then the guy shut up. And then later, people were like, "What'd you say to him?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't say anything. I bit his ear."
No.
That's amazing. That's so scary.
Those people, and this guy was not an intimidating guy. He was just a small old man, but he didn't give a shit. I remember one time we were in LA back in the day. We were at this club on Sunset. On the Sunset Strip, it was it was one of the big ones, Roxbury or whatever. And they had a bouncer. This guy was like legit 7-footer, but not lanky. Big.
Yeah.
And he had a towel on his shoulder, like a bar towel. And all night we're just smoking weed, laughing like this motherfucker's got a king comforter on his shoulder. This motherfucker's got an AIDS quilt on his shoulder right now. And he was so big, we couldn't get over it. We just couldn't stop looking. He was so big. And then some asshole goes through the crowd, starts grabbing girls' asses. And when I tell you, this guy palmed him. He palmed a human being. He palmed him. Grabbed him by the top of the shirt, around the neck, and the jeans, and we were like, "Hold it!" We wanted to see it. He waited, and then he threw this motherfucker down the steps, like tossed a man down the stairs, bro.
That's incredible.
I love those kind of guys if they're on your side.
Right.
Oh yeah, if they're on your side. I just don't. I say all the time, like, I had a name for guys like you where I come from, sir. It's sir. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. That was really fun.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. I hope you come to Vancouver soon, man.
Yeah.
I do too. I hope I get up there. I'd love to come up. I know it's beautiful up there. I want to get there.
Absolutely, man. Well, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so
nice to meet you both as well. Thank you very much.
We'll talk to you soon. Watch The Honeydew. It's the best podcast.
The Honeydew. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, ryansickler.com. And the Honeydew Podcast.
And what's your album called, by the way? I know you have 2.
Get a Hold of Yourself is the most recent one. And Above Ground Pool was the first one.
Okay. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, guys. Thank you.
See you, man. Bye-bye.